She crossed an ocean for this life. In 2021, a young woman left Nepal for a town in Virginia she had never seen, for a marriage she had agreed to, in a country where she knew almost no one. She learned the floors of a hospital. She held strangers' worst days in her hands, and she made them survivable. She had a daughter, and in the last days of July of 2024, Mamta Kafle Bhatt, 28 years old, a mother, and a nurse, stopped appearing on every record of her own life. There were no calls, no texts, no shifts, no social media posts, nothing. Her husband will tell you she simply left. He'll even tell it two slightly different ways. Investigators will tell you her own home says otherwise. Mamta's body has never been found, and so today, we tackle this, his story as he told it, and then everything the investigation turned up against it. Because a man has been charged, says he's innocent, and a jury has not spoken. Yet. Hello, Unravelers. Settle in. This is a big one. It's kind of a personal note because it did shape how I came to this one. I didn't first hear about this case on national news. I heard it on my local news. This happened literally in my own backyard here in Northern Virginia. This is a nurse and a mother gone from her home right down the highway from where I'm sitting right now. When a case is like this national case, I mean, it always feels important. It feels big. But for this one, I had colleagues that were going to her vigils. And so when it's local, I don't know, it hits slightly different, right? In a way that makes you feel like you have to show up for this one because it's like a neighbor. That's how this one has always felt to me. And it's part of why I need to get it right. And I say get it right because if you've been here with me for a while, then you will know, yes, I did cover this case once before, back when this channel was just like 3 subscribers and 1 ring light. And I just never really felt like I did it justice. I feel like now looking back, I just had so much to learn as far as my channel, my voice, even my equipment, my researching, all of that. And so consider this the redo that Mamta Kafle Bhatt deserves. Let's unravel. Let's start where she started. Mamta Kafle Bhatt came to the United States from Nepal in 2021 for an arranged marriage to a man named Naresh Bhatt, and for the life that was supposed to grow from that. She settled in Manassas Park. This is a town in the Washington, D.C. suburbs, and she went to work immediately, educating herself and eventually becoming a registered nurse, landing herself in the med-surg unit at UVA Health Prince William Medical Center. Med-surg is one of those assignments that it's those people who are very quietly keeping you alive between all the dramatic moments, okay? That was Mamta's whole vocation. She was the steady hand on so many people's worst days. She and Naresh had been married for a little over 3 years, and they had a baby girl. She was about 1 year old that summer. From the outside, again, we say this far too often, from the outside, it was the most ordinary picture in the world. A nurse, a husband, a new baby, a beautiful home, career. But that's the thing about ordinary, isn't it? We only ever hold it up to the light after it shatters. But keep Mamta in the forefront of your mind for this entire episode, Unravelers. She is what matters here. Now, let's have a little chat about the man that Mamta married. That man's name is Naresh Bhatt. He is 37 years old. He's also from Nepal, and his resume might not be what some of you would predict. According to reporting, he served in the U.S. Army Reserve as an automated logistics specialist. He also worked as a government contractor, and at one point, Naresh Bhatt was actually a Fairfax County police recruit. Yes, you heard that correctly. The man who is now accused in a no-body homicide once thought that he might like to train, however briefly, on the other side of an investigation such as this one. I'm not going to make that mean more than it does, but I do find it to be one of those details when I'm covering cases that just makes me give a little bit of a head tilt. Just a tilt. Just a tilt. When Naresh was arrested, the reaction from the people who knew the couple apparently was not shock, which in turn to me is shocking. It's shocking to me that people weren't shocked. Neighbors and friends told reporters and investigators in so many words that they weren't surprised, which makes me incredibly sad for Mamta, because in order for people to not be shocked, that would mean that there were signs. Yeah? Right? I do know from my research, like there were people giving Mamta advice and trying to help her the best way that they knew how. It just, here we are. Again, this is not evidence of anything, right? Not surprised it's a feeling. It's not a fact. But to me, it does tell you something about the temperature of this marriage before any of it reached a courtroom. Again, friends and family's characterizations are claims. They're not findings. So what was the marriage actually like then, right? Here, we're moving from record into recollection. Not the same thing. So just tread carefully with me here. People who were very close to Mamta have spoken publicly. One friend described Naresh as very jealous and controlling and said he was very emotionally hard on her. At times, she would confide in this friend that he was critical of her body after giving birth to their child. And again, those are friends' words in interview. They're not facts proven in court, but they are part, I think, of why the people around them reacted the way that they did. By the summer of 2024, by Naresh's own account, the marriage was ending. It was falling apart. He would actually tell police on body cam, which we're going to watch, we're going to watch it, and that he was preparing to sell the home. And that definitely becomes a load-bearing wall in these events. Prosecutors actually alleged that months before any of this happened, so back in April of that year, on his work laptop, someone searched how long you have to wait to remarry after a spouse dies. And also, what happens to a spouse's debt when they die? Yeah. Not what happens when you get divorced or if a spouse leaves you. No, you heard me. Anyway, we'll get back to that though. We will. So here is where the story, or I should say the narrative really begins. And I want to let Naresh tell it in all of its glory, because he did. He definitely did. So on July 31st, Mamta doesn't show up for her shift. Listen, guys, for a reliable nurse, that just sets off alarm bells immediately. It lands with coworkers, with management, with everybody who knows this nurse, right? And everyone's worried. And it's her coworkers, because her family is an ocean away at this point. Remember, it's only Naresh and her coworkers and friends. It's her coworkers that call police and ask them to do a welfare check on Mamta. And so 2 officers go to the Bhatt home, body camera running, and Naresh gives his account. Let's take a listen. If you guys want to skip past it, if you've seen it, you don't want to listen, it's fine. I definitely suggest you do, because I really want to hear your thoughts. I have some. We will reconvene momentarily, okay, for thoughts.
Hello, sir. How are you? I'm Officer Lieutenant Park, please. We're looking for Miss Mamta Kafle.
Yeah, we see like on Tuesday, Wednesday, she left and then she says she gonna go either New York or Texas and then she left she had the phone and then she destroyed that phone and then she left.
So she destroyed the phone and she left. She said she was going to New York.
Yeah, her sister, one of her sister.
Okay. Do you have any other contact information?
Yeah, I like she has a different three phones. I do have like two phone numbers. One phone number somebody other receiving, one another for contact number for the New York. I do have.
Okay, can you show me that, please? Can you
Can we
have
get
that
those
info?
numbers? Can we get those phone numbers from you?
Yeah, we just want to see if she's okay because we have an employer calling to
Hi.
check. Did she say why she left?
Yeah, because we are about to separate and then the home inspection come here to I'm about to sell the home. So she wanna say like okay I wanna go with my sisters and then she used to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay.
And then sometimes I don't know where you can come inside or I can come outside.
This up to you, sir.
Up to you, sir. Yeah.
And she used to live in a falls church. I don't know the exact address. I know the building because I see noticed there because I saw her email, and then one place over there, and then I don't know somewhere in Manassas because on the 8th I think like on the 8th she started a job.
Last month?
No. Yeah, last month. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. On the 8th, so I'm not working since that. She say she gonna be stay there, and then once she gonna be everything settled down, she will take the baby. She not gonna leave the baby with me. That's what she said. I know the building in Falls Church where she was. Still, she's living over there or Texas because I already conversation with her sister. She just did not reply me, and then she was asking me, and then her mom. And then her mom is also asking for me. I don't know where is she.
Okay. So if you could give us the phone numbers, please. We want to see if we can make contact with her.
This is not the first time. Multiple times she go and then come back in few days.
Okay.
I don't have the phone number for her sister. Usually I have a Facebook, but I don't have her phone number.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
So that's what I replied 2:23. Usually she works Thursday to Saturday. She works there, and then it's not like first time she disappear and then come back. I live with my parents over there. She say okay, I'm not gonna live with your parents. My parents left back home, and then still a lot of she going. She got the green card already, and then she was about to
Okay. When she left, was she? Did you say anything about hurting herself or anything concerning?
No, because if it's the
normal?
first time, then I can say, oh, okay, where are you going? This and that. This is multiple times. I don't know who we call you, but sometimes she came back and then most of her stuff regular stuff. She already I think in March she already take regular stuff regular wearing regular shoes. This is her shoes even but the regular things she already take it. But the normal thing fancy wear, a suits, special wear, still we have here. Yeah.
Okay. Can I get your phone number, sir?
Yeah.
And do you have ID on you?
Yeah.
Okay. Just get that. Yeah, we'll get it all at once. So we don't have contact. I mean, what I'm thinking is if maybe get his info and could tell us to give us a call if she comes back.
Yep, get his info. Sounds like they're going through a divorce, so she decided to go to New York with her sister. If she just comes back, he'll give you a call. And just, I think it was her job who called, just called them, let them know that, hey, spoke to the husband. It appears they're going through a divorce, and she left and went to New York.
And she's not at the work.
Her employer called and asking just called us to check if she was okay. So that's why we're here. We don't mean to bother you.
Well, that's fine. She's supposed to be there. Usually I don't know. I cannot check. Where she goes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. It's all right.
Military?
Yeah.
What branch?
Army.
Army?
You good?
Up to Virginia.
No, my wife's military.
Oh, wow. So, can I have your card or something?
Yes,
So,
I'll give you my card. Okay.
yeah, so that I can call back. Hopefully, she either texts us because one of our very close sisters, she texts us. I don't know, like maybe like she working not. At this time, like the home inspection, they come over here to evaluate the home and then painting. So because I say like I want to sell this home, because a lot of stuff going on. So I just bought a year ago. It's less than a year. So I say like I'm done. So people come over here and then see ask a little bit, but like I already told them like realtor don't talk to anybody else. Just make inspection and then make a value.
Alright, can I get the card number, please?
Even like she was 5 months, she left for like 2 weeks. We never know. And then one of friend tell me like somewhere in Falchuk, and then after that, at that time she had a laptop over here. In my laptop, her email was on, and then I see Uber was there. She did the Uber, and then I went to the nearby the building, and then I saw her, like at the building because I wait for her like work time. I see her there, and then same thing happens again another time right here in the Bright Street Drive. She said like at that time we had a conversation. She said like I'm in the Fairfax, but like I just guessed maybe like she is there, and then I just wait for a few hours over there. At that time my parents was here, so I can go there, and then I see she's just stepping out from her one of my friend, both like both of us friends, and then she just step out, and then I went inside. Why are you lying? If you wanna go, just go. If you don't wanna go, like. But I don't wanna stay with you. That's what I said.
Right.
Okay, sir. So your phone number. All right, so here's my contact info. The number on top is just the ID number, like that just that distinguishes So that's the
ID number,
the ID number of
and then 571.
yeah. The top one's just to document what we're talking about today. Okay, and the bottom is okay. If she does return home, just give us a call.
Okay, if she did not return home, like, let's say she's supposed to be returned home by Sunday or Saturday because she worked Thursday to Saturday. Sometimes she doesn't come over here because, last time, it was like few weeks ago.
Okay.
I have also worked, if I left, she has to take care of the baby. If she left, I have to take care of the baby. That's why she decided like, okay, when I'm working, I'm not going to come home. If she doesn't come, so I have to file a complaint or what I supposed to do. She lost, maybe she say like, last time, even like, she returned down and then she say like, okay, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna disappear for 6 months, make a different address, and then after that, we will separate this and that. So I don't know, like I'm kind of.
Okay, well, if she does end up missing, just call us back. Again, it'll be a good idea to contact people that that knows her, all right, to make sure she's not actually missing. But if that does happen, just give us a call.
And another thing, she has some mental issue as well. See, the nurse problem is there, because if I say something with the nurse who know more, I say you know more. Like I say a lot of stuff. I told her like multiple times, let's go to the psychiatrist. Like do something. She said like, no, I'm okay. I know my stuff. I'm a registered nurse.
Okay.
A lot of stuff. It's problem.
I hear you, sir. I understand it could be complicated, but here's your ID back.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give her employer a call back to see, to let her know what we spoke about today, okay?
All right.
And again, just give us a call. Well, you have my number. Just you can shoot me a text if you want. Just give me let me know if she comes back.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Until Sunday, I don't think so.
What's that?
Until Sunday, I don't think so.
Until
Last
Sunday?
time in March, she disappeared for a week or something. After that, I figured that out because of the email, and then she said like I was on the parking lot, and then she said like I'll meet you at the hospital, and then I meet her at the hospital. I say like I know where you're living at, but I don't know like which building or which floor. It's a big building, so hopefully she will be back by Sunday. If not,
You're talking about this after tomorrow? Is
Yeah.
that what you mean? Okay.
yeah, this Sunday because she worked like maybe it's Saturday night because she worked like because she's not at work now.
Right.
Because before this 8th, she used to work in another hospital. And then maybe she applied somewhere else and then trying to do that one as well. I need to figure that out,
Right.
because she used to work at the Ainova hospital and then she switched over there. And if she want to try to move somewhere, if she applied somewhere, I don't know how to figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll give the employer a call and just read
Either New York,
the
either
info,
Texas.
okay? What? You said Texas?
Either New York, either Texas.
Oh, either New York or Texas. All right, sir. Thank you so much, okay? All right.
There is not just one thing in that body cam footage that infuriates me. I'll talk about, what I picked up on, and I will let you guys fill in the rage blanks below. You guys can tell me what you heard, what you noticed, and how you felt. Please, someone talk to me about this. Investigators show up. He says his wife left. They say when. He's very vague. Tuesday, Wednesday. They say where? I don't know. New York, maybe Texas, with her sisters. Spoiler alert, Mamta doesn't have any sisters. She doesn't have any family in the US whatsoever. So first lie detected, okay? And then the police officers say, why? And he says, well, we're about to separate. The home inspector came here. I'm about to sell the house. And so she was like, I'm just going to leave. He also throws in that little detail that says, she had her phone, but she destroyed her phone. She destroyed her phone before she left. Which, by the way, when he goes on to talk about how she has done this so many times before, he never says she destroyed her phone before. Why this time? She destroyed her phone? Okay, we're off the record. Tiff unraveled. Off the record. Tiff unraveled. That means this is just everything I'm saying is my opinion, except for the stuff that's not. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, at that time, he offers this up, right? Completely unprompted, which I genuinely I've watched this body cam footage at least a dozen times. And I just can never shake this, when he says, don't worry about it, guys. He doesn't say, don't worry about it. I'm ad-libbing here, but he does say this isn't the first time she's done this. This is not the first time that she has disappeared and then come back. In fact, the last time she did this, she said she was just going to be gone for 6 months. So, look no further. I am on the case. If anything comes up, I will call you. He asks for their card. In fact, and I genuinely believe that Naresh thinks that when he says, can I just have your card? And, if she doesn't turn up, I'll call you. You know what I mean? And I think that I do actually think he thinks that if he doesn't prompt any investigation, there won't be one. Naresh, sir, you were wrong. Anyway, and then there's one more thing that he tells the officer, and it is definitely the one that I want to slow down on. Okay. He says that Mamta has been struggling with her mental health. He says that he has urged her more than once to get help. He said, quote, I told her like multiple times, let's go to the psychiatrist. And he supplies her supposed answer, which was, no, I'm okay. I know my stuff. I'm a registered nurse. He says all of this, by the way, for nearly 12 minutes. We're watching this man talk about his wife while his 1-year-old daughter is on his hip, which just pisses me off. But anyway, okay. Again, at this moment, because I have to, I'm stepping outside of reporting, and this is me. This is Tiff Unraveled. This is not evidence. Take it exactly as that. Just me yapping, okay? That detail Anytime I hear that detail from a partner of a missing or eventually found to be unalive spouse, because we hear this so often. We hear, she had mental health issues. I tried to get her to see a psychiatrist. I tried to get her help. She just refused. She refused. I've just heard maybe a slightly different version of that so many times. When a spouse goes missing, it's like there's almost always an explanation that shows up unscheduled from the partner. She wasn't stable. She wasn't well. She's wandered off before. She was the problem. And notice what that move does or what they expect it to do. Whether the person means for that to happen or not, which a lot of times that is their intention. It pre-discredits Mamta, right? If she was not right in the head, as Naresh would have you believe, then her vanishing really requires no darker explanation, no further investigation. And anything that she has said or might have said in the past, it very quietly gets filed under, but she wasn't all there. That's the intention. And I'm not saying here, this is not evidence. Again, I'm not reporting, I'm unraveling. Okay, 2 totally different things. Which, by the way, if you're here for a little bit of both, please like the video. Guys, liking the video does so much more than you know. If you're already this far into the video, there's no turning back. You're already here, you're stuck. Okay? You're an unraveler. You can't get away from it. It is what it is. And so, with that being the case, just hit the button that makes it so. Okay? Honestly, though, I do love you guys. I hate having to say that in these videos, but I do have to say it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you find the content valuable. Let's move on. These are the points in these videos where I just kind of start to lose it. Because here's what I'm going to say about this. I'd love to know if you guys agree or disagree with me. When I'm talking about these kinds of things, I want to be very careful every time. Mental illness is a real thing. It is a very common thing. And so many people genuinely struggle with mental illness. With that being said, sometimes a worried or concerned partner is just that. They're a worried or concerned partner. I am not here to stigmatize anyone who has ever needed help. Naming this pattern that I see is not me saying that people who struggle are unstable or dangerous or disposable. I would never. If anything, it's completely the opposite. Okay? This is about how that struggle, right? Maybe Mamta, not maybe, allegedly, but from everything that I read, here's where I have to be careful. I believe Mamta was 100% struggling with her mental health. I believe she was trapped in a marriage that was based on coercive control and emotional, verbal abuse, just based on what her family and friends have said in public. So yeah, I definitely believe that there was a struggle with her mental health. And so again, if I'm saying anything, it's when a spouse or partner takes that struggle that sometimes they're actually the cause of, and they weaponize their spouse or partner's struggle with mental health, right? That is what becomes the problem. And again, to be crystal clear, this is not evidence. This is not evidence that Naresh did anything. He is, as always, presumed innocent until proven otherwise in a court of law. But I am allowed to notice the move here because this is not the first time I've seen it. And I know it won't be the last time that we see this. She wasn't right in the head. She was struggling with her mental health. She's done this so many times before. It's just a thing that gets, at this point, way overplayed by controlling partners and sometimes by killers, right alongside the genuinely frightened and concerned partners. And so that's where I am. Okay? The only way to ever tell them apart is to keep listening and keep asking questions, which is, the whole job. All right, let's step back into the record. Naresh's story doesn't just clash with the evidence later. It doesn't even really hold still against itself, because 12 days after that welfare check, on August 14th, 2024, Naresh stands in the threshold of the doorway of that same home and gives an on-camera interview to my local news station, WUSA 9. And the account has grown up, apparently. The vague Tuesday, Wednesday is now a very specific day. He last saw her on Wednesday, July 31st. And then there's a new cozy detail that never came up during that welfare check, that body cam footage. We ate dinner on the evening of that Wednesday, right? And then there's a reassurance that nobody asked for. He said, we did not have any argument or something like that. Okay. So before investigators have proven a single thing, we already are coming up against two slightly different versions of the same few days from the same man. Very vague, then very precise. No dinner, then a dinner. We're separating and I'm selling the house to everything was fine. No arguments or anything like that. I'm not here to tell you what that means. That's the jury's job and we'll get there. But I mean, I can say this much, I think. A true story tends to get simpler and steadier every time you tell it. This one kept adding details and scenery. Right? Gut check in the comments, Unravelers. So now we'll get into the investigation. The first thing that investigators do is the least glamorous and the most damaging. They check the story against the phone. And here's what prosecutors say the phone shows. Mamta's cell was operational until July 30th, which is when her very last contact with her mother in Nepal was. After that, all of Mamta's calls went to voicemail. Mamta's phone did ping once in Loudoun County on August 1st. And then went dark for good, forever. No calls, no texts. And for a woman in 2024, no social media ever again after that day. So then they cross-check, I guess, more of Naresh's story. And they go looking for this sister in New York. And this sister in Texas, right? This very close sister that Mamta, if she was going to go anywhere, she'd go with her sister in New York or Texas. Either New York or Texas, New York or Texas. He said that multiple times on that body cam footage. According to prosecutors, there isn't one. There isn't two. There isn't even one. Mamta had no biological family in the United States at all. The whole reason she crossed this ocean was to try to build a life that her family could come into. But as of right now, they were in Nepal. She had no family in the United States of America. And so that whole she went to visit her sisters in either New York or Texas, prosecutors allege she had no biological family in the US. There was no sisters to visit. So within days, okay, two of those load-bearing walls that I talked about of Naresh Bhatt's account of where Mamta could be, where she's gone, what she's doing, the phone, the family. According to the state, all of that is gone at this point. It doesn't exist. And that's when I think this stops being a missing persons case and starts becoming something else. Because now they're looking. And police get a warrant for Naresh's Google account, his search history, his location data, right? The whole picture from July 27th through August 1st. And then they start pulling that entire house apart. Remember, To that reporter on August 14th, Naresh said everything was fine. He said, quote, "We do not have any argument or anything," unquote. Hold that gentle little sentence in your mind, because prosecutors say that this is what investigators are finding in that very same home, where nothing was wrong. They brought in cadaver dogs. Again, these are dogs we all know that are trained to detect human remains. And according to prosecutors, the dogs alerted in 2 places in that house. One was the master bedroom. The other was the master bathroom. So the cadaver dog doesn't tell us who. It doesn't tell us how, okay? But it does say something. There was a body here, okay? Then we get into the physical evidence as described in the filings. There was significant blood in the master bedroom and signs consistent with a body being dragged from the master bedroom to the master bathroom. It did also include evidence that lit up around a removed bathtub. I will very plainly say what all of this is. This is the state's account. This is the prosecutors' and investigators' account from filings untested by defense. At this point, again, we have not gone to trial. This is all alleged. What we're talking about right now is what prosecutors and investigators say they found. But you feel the distance now, don't you? Right? Between the man who's very calmly telling a news reporter that the marriage was fine and the house that the state says was hiding all of the things that are contrary to that. If the house is one half of the state's story, then the paper trail is the other half. According to prosecutors, a set of knives from one store, a 40-pack of extra strong black trash bags from a Home Depot, carpet cleaner, disinfectant wipes, and air fresheners from another store. Okay? None of those things are a crime on their own. I buy those things frequently. Trash bags, carpet cleaner. I don't buy knives very often, but disinfectant wipes, air freshener, I buy those things. If you have any teenagers in your house, you buy those things frequently, okay? Because we need them. The state's argument, though, is about the pattern, right? And the timing of these purchases. So now we come back to what I told you to park. Remember way back in this video, I mentioned an April search on the work laptop. Here is what the state is pointing to. I'm only reading to you what's on record from the filings. So first, back in April, again, months before Mamta vanished, we have those searches, how long it takes to remarry after a spouse dies, and what happens to your debt after a spouse dies. Again, these are not searches these aren't like, is my marriage salvageable searches. This is not a divorce lawyer searches, right? These are searches about a spouse being gone. And then in those pre-dawn hours of July 30th, so this is like right in that window when the state alleges Mamta was already gone. There's a search for diagram of the brain and chicken farm near me. So a formal federal prosecutor very flatly called a search history like this devastating for the defendant. We're separating. I'm selling the home. Right. Okay. Well, in April, the state says that the same laptop was already asking how soon you can remarry after the spouse dies. So let's just let that sit there, and we're not going to narrate those things into a confession. Obviously, they are not. Again, if I haven't made it clear, Naresh Bhatt, yes, he has been arrested, but he has pleaded not guilty, and therefore he is that until proven otherwise in a court of law. Okay? And that's the jury's job. the defense is disputing that Naresh was even the person who typed these things. How can you put a person behind a screen? We saw this a lot, right? The whole thing was like, you can't put a person behind a screen. You don't know who is making these searches. You don't know, so I see that here as a viable defense. But I'd be lying if I said that me reading a chicken farm near me at 4:30 in the morning doesn't just do something absolutely disgusting to my stomach. So then we get into his movements, okay? This is where his own timeline just completely detonates. And this is the problem, as far as I'm concerned. So remember, he told police, this is not the first time she's done this, right? She'll come back. Prosecutors say that at roughly 1:30 a.m. on July 31st, Naresh was captured on CCTV footage in Falls Church, Virginia, moving bags, trash bags, from his Tesla to a trash compactor. And at the time that he was doing this, his phone was turned off and left behind. So there was absolutely no way for the phone to track him. But they do say that he visited multiple dump sites, and at times he was even seen wearing gloves while visiting these dump sites. Later, they say he sold that Tesla and that all of the suitcases were packed, all of the passports were gathered. And of course, the state is going to call this one thing and one thing only: preparation to flee. Of course he was. That's where we are so far. If your jaw is somewhere near the floor, as mine was when I was researching this case, well, hi, welcome. We are exactly the same brand of unwell as you are, and so you are welcome here. You are in the right place. I really would love for the algorithm to stop hiding my videos. Hit subscribe. That's it. There's no pledge. There's no cost. There's also no tote bag that comes with it. I'm sorry. I'm working on that. But anyway, onward. On August 22nd, 2024, Naresh Bhatt was arrested and charged with concealment of a dead body. And then in December of 2024, a grand jury went just a bit further. Yeah, first-degree murder and physical defilement of a dead body. He pleaded not guilty to all of that. And the single most contested object in this case, we haven't talked about it yet, but we're getting there now, is a handheld power saw that was recovered from the Bhatt home. According to court filings, DNA testing matched that saw to Mamta. I think that was the smoking gun here. That was them saying Mamta's DNA is on a saw. We saw Naresh putting trash bags into multiple compactors around Northern Virginia, and now we can't find her body. You know, the audacity of some of these perpetrators really just gets under my skin. Because as smart as you think you are, you're a idiot and you're disgusting. You're foul. Anyway, that's not reporting. That's unraveling. That's it. Again, two totally different things. Let's get back on the record. Okay. According to these court filings, right, DNA testing matches that saw to Mamta by using a sample from her hairbrush that was found in the home to make the comparison. A December 2nd, 2024 news conference, Manassas Park's police chief, his name is Mario Lugo, said that his investigative team believed that Mamta was dismembered inside of that home. I really need you to feel how heavy and how carefully that sentence has to be for them to say it in a press conference. That is the police chief stating what investigators believe in a case where no body has been recovered. Evidence has to be somewhat sufficient, right? We will find out at trial. Later on, Virginia's Department of Forensic Science reported 3 human hairs and 13 hair fragments recovered from that saw, and those 3 hairs were potentially suitable for nuclear DNA testing. In open court, one of Naresh's own attorneys admitted what that could mean. If those hairs came back to Mamta, it would be, in the defense's words, a devastating blow to the defense. That further testing and the trial are still ahead. The hole at the center of it all, Mamta, has not been found. Investigators have run, from what I've read, roughly 50 searches. They have coordinated with the FBI. They focused on that Page County landfill on the far side of the Shenandoahs. It has not produced her. And so this trial goes on as a no-body case. And that really seems to be the spine of everything that I've been covering recently. And so I'll say it again, as I've said it in multiple cases before. The prosecution has to convince 12 people, the 12 people that are sitting on that jury, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Mamta is not alive anymore and that her life was taken by Naresh Bhatt, without the one piece of evidence that every instinct demands here. Her. They will build it. I do have faith that they will build it. Not that I have opinion one way or another, but they will build it. They will build it from the blood. They will build it from the saw, from the cadaver dogs, from the phone going silent, from the searches prior to her disappearance, from his movements, and from cell analysis experts, phone records, all of that. Circumstantial, again, I will say it, guys, we should make a mug that says this. Circumstantial does not mean weak. We know this. We just saw it in the Larry Miliete trial, a totally circumstantial case. Maya has still not been found, and yet from all of the pieces of the puzzle that were like fitting and squeezing together, Larry Miliete was found guilty of first-degree murder of his wife, Maya Miliete. Okay? Fully circumstantial case. Circumstantial does not mean weak. But the burden sits heavy on prosecution, as it should. It always does. Balance is mandatory. I will say that. We always have to give the defense real airtime, no matter what side of the fence we're sitting on, right? Not just some token line, right? We're not just giving them, a space to say what they have to say, even though we all know they're full of it, right? I know sometimes that's how we go into these cases when we have a very strong opinion one way or the other. But the defense does have a theory, right? And fairness demands that we talk about that theory, we acknowledge that theory, and we listen to that theory without a single smirk. We'll try. Naresh Bhatt's lawyers are arguing Mamta is alive, okay? There is no body, they'll say. And that's not a technicality, that's a reasonable doubt in and of itself. They have fought relentlessly since his arrest for his release. They have pushed hard on the sheer timing and volume of evidence. But again, these are things that a jury is going to have to weigh just as seriously as they weigh the state's evidence and arguments. Our job today is just to talk about Mamta, to tell her story, to talk about the case, present what's known. We all know before we go to trial, we know nothing, right? Until a case goes. That's why I love trials so much. You know nothing until we're in trial. That's when everything gets brought to light. On August 22nd, 2024 was Naresh Bhatt's arrest. He was charged, like I said, with concealing a dead body. That fall, after nearly 3 hours of argument, a judge denied his bond, citing what she called, quote, overwhelming evidence, end quote, and describing testimony as, quote, horrific, end quote. finding Naresh both a flight risk and a danger. And then a move that you really don't see every day. The defense completely waives Naresh's preliminary hearing, right? This is the stage where they could have tested whether the state even had enough evidence to proceed with this trial. Reporting says that they wanted to move fast. They really have been wanting to expedite this trial. In December of 2024, a grand jury did indict Naresh Bhatt on the murder and defilement charges. From there, preliminary hearings through 2025. And then in July of 2025, Judge Kimberly Irving, reluctantly by all accounts, pushed the trial from its original September of 2025 setting all the way until what we are now waiting on, fall of 2026. And she said it was so that both sides could work through what everyone keeps calling mountains of digital evidence. That's what we can expect, apparently, okay? Mountains of digital evidence. The trial was postponed for an entire year so that both sides could get through mountains of digital evidence. If you guys have been here for even one case, you know that digital evidence is my favorite kind of evidence. So I will be here for this one. I will also be here for this one because Mamta was in my own backyard. Mamta was a nurse. Now we are apparently looking at a 25-day trial spread across October and into November of 2026, with remaining motion hearings and a pretrial conference set for September 25th, which was bumped again from a previous September 10th date that I had written down. Anyway, all of this in front of the presiding Judge Irving. If you guys know me or if you've been here for any amount of time, you know that I refuse to leave you only in the evidence because that's not why we're here. And that's not who Mamta was. It's not the whole of what happens next. When Mamta disappeared, the people around her refused to let her fade. Weeks and weeks of community searches, multiple community vigils that were led by the Nepali community of Northern Virginia, hundreds standing outside of the family's home for a candlelight vigil where peace mantras were played 108 times. This is a number that apparently carries very deep meaning in Nepali and Hindu tradition. 108 times into the dark for a woman who most of them had never met. But that just shows, the wave of how these crimes affect whole communities of people. And they didn't just stop at grief. An immigration attorney worked to fast-tracked visas so that Mamta's family could come from Nepal, and then a ton of community fundraising brought in over $80,000 in a single day for the baby and to bring family from across the world. So Mamta's mother, Geeta, and Mamta's brother, Mahesh, they arrived from Nepal in late of 2024, and they have been raising Mamta's little girl ever since then. Mamta came into this country with one person, and that person now stands trial for taking her entire life from her. When the worst came, an entire community here in Northern Virginia and the family that she'd left an ocean behind to try to start a better life for herself and eventually for them. They made sure that her daughter would never feel alone as they think she had been feeling. So where does it stand? As we wait, Naresh Bhatt is charged with first-degree murder, concealment of a dead body, and physical defilement of a dead body. He has pleaded not guilty, and he is currently being held without bond. His trial runs, like I said, across October and into November of 2026 in front of Judge Kimberly Irving. When it starts, I think that we're going to see phone records testimony from the FBI. We're going to see the DNA on that saw and whether those hairs actually get matched. We're going to hear from, we're going to hear testimony about the cadaver dog evidence, whether all of those shifting statements he made to the media will even come into play. And above all, how hard the defense leans on the simplest fact of the case: Mamta has never been found. It would be really easy to make this whole thing about a saw and a bathtub and a landfill, because that's all just like the grim machinery of the cases that we talk about. And we go through all of that, right? Because that's the job, and because you deserve the full picture before we head into trial. But I gotta tell you guys, the only reason that I'm here, the only reason I'm ever inspired to talk about any of these cases, the only reason that any of these cases matter to me is our victims. And in this case, it's the woman at the center of all of this, Mamta. This is a woman who crossed an ocean for a better life, who crossed an ocean for an arranged marriage that, held promise of opportunities. She came here and decided to commit her life to keeping strangers alive and safe and cared for. And this is a mother who has a little girl that now she doesn't get to raise. And a jury, only a jury, not you, not me, not court of public opinion, will decide this fall what any of the evidence in this case proves. And again, they haven't decided yet. We're not there yet. Until they do their thing, the fair thing, the right thing, we'll keep our judgment where it belongs. On to Unravel. Talk to me about it. Seriously. What do you guys think? But we will always keep Mamta where she belongs, which is at the center of all of this. She is the person, okay? She is the reason that these vigils take place. She is the reason that her family holds each other so close and has been over the last 2 years. And she is the reason that we will show up in that courtroom in October. She is the reason that we're all hanging out here tonight. Mamta. Say her name. She deserves justice, whatever form that takes. Her family, her daughter deserves justice. And that's why we're here. She's at the center of this entire thing. But we made it through. That's all I've got. If you guys know anything that I've missed, evidence-wise or document-wise or anything like that, please talk to me about it down below. I'm not perfect. I'm only human. I'm a very tired one at that. I do my absolute best to compile these episodes, bring you guys, factual information, and then I separate my unraveling from the facts. But if you've been here long enough, you know the difference between the two at this point. Yeah, again, I will be on vacation for the rest of the week. I will not be home until next Tuesday. What? I can't even. Don't think that I won't miss you while I'm gone, because I will. And don't think that while I'm gone, I won't come up with 100 other things that I have to download to you guys about. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, babe. I need the beach. I need some sun. I need some vitamin D. Maybe a margarita or like what's another beachy drink? I don't know. Mojito? Yes, one of those things. Okay? Anyway, until I get back, thank you guys so much for being here now. Thank you for letting me be me. Thank you for all of it. So I don't even know what else to say. You guys are amazing. I tell you guys that all the time in the comments because Unravelers are amazing. I'm so proud of this community. I really am. I'll see you soon in like a week. I don't even really know what I have. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Or DM me all of the stuff, right? Like, subscribe, share. If I didn't say that already, I said that already. I have to. Guys, come on. We're trying. Anyway, until I see you next week, you know what to do. Please, please stay safe, keep asking questions, and keep unraveling. Love you.